Yeah, well, I came to Cambridge in 1974 from the University of Essex, and I followed another prominent Essex academic, that is Geoffrey Hawthorne, who later went on to run the politics department here. And at that time, we were a joint department of politics, sociology, and social psychology. And in those days, we weren't a department of the university, but we were a committee, and we only had a part 2. And that was important because we didn't admit students to the university to do a part 1. Students did a part 1 in other subjects, and quite a large number came to us, usually over 100 in fact, from other subjects to do a part 2, which they could do in 1 or 2 years. I think the main achievement at the beginning is to maintain the presence of politics and sociology in the university. From the early cohort of students, we did have quite a number who then went on to become professors of sociology and made quite a big impact on sociology in the United Kingdom. For instance, people that I knew quite well were John Homewood, Hilary Pinkington, for instance, and Stephen Yearley. That was one thing. I think the department also has created a very strong research base and has also got a very strong and active postgraduate community. Well, I think the main challenge of the department and for new subjects is the fact that the university is college-based, and that one had to get support from the colleges for the department and for the subject to develop. Colleges, for instance, are responsible for the admissions of students, and they also provide quite independently sources for teaching from college funds. So initially it was quite difficult to break the quota that other subjects had for the admission of students, because obviously if social and political sciences took students, they would be part from the quota from other subjects. I think that was one problem. So we also started from a very small base in the university. We had, for instance, 3 subjects, that's politics, sociology, and social psychology. So we haven't received, and we still don't receive, the appropriate number of research fellowships and research fellows in the colleges, for example. When I went to Emmanuel in modern languages, modern medieval languages, we had a teaching fellow in French, a teaching fellow in German, and a teaching fellow in Russian. And they're all very small subjects, smaller in fact than any of the social science subjects. So that was one thing, starting from a small base, and compared with other universities like Oxford or Essex, for example, we were very small indeed. For instance, when I came from Essex, in comparative sociology, just in one part of sociology alone, we had 2 lecturers on American society, 2 lecturers on Latin American society, and 2 lecturers on the Soviet Union. So that really does show the very big difference that there is between us and other departments. So in this context, I think social and political sciences has done really extremely well to establish itself, both as a teaching subject and particularly in terms of its establishing a research base and also a considerable community of postgraduate students. Well, I think the first thing is it has to establish its presence in the university, and to do this it needs a much larger sociology intake at the undergraduate level. That is to say, the students who are coming to social sciences, many more have to opt to do sociology as a main subject. And at present, it seems to me that politics and international relations are much more successful on this front. Why is sociology less popular to the undergraduate population? Some of it may not be due at all to the situation in Cambridge, but it may be to do with the position of sociology in the United Kingdom. In the post-war period, for example, sociology was widely accepted in the UK as a subject which could guide the reconstruction of the country after the Second World War. And the subject had a very strong impact on the population. It was a boom subject. There were weekly popular journals, for instance, like New Society, which was widely read and was a very popular vehicle for sociology. So in society at large, this has changed somewhat. Many of the focal and important areas of sociology which attracted people of my generation have now moved to politics, modern history, political economy, and even heterodox economics. Much of British sociology is a collection of topics which seem to be left over, as it were, from politics, economics, and contemporary history. So, whereas previously sociology was a generalizing subject covering developments in all the social sciences, including psychology, now it's very much more diverse, as the division between subjects in Cambridge actually shows. So then people were concerned with the theory of society, and the theory of society included all the other subjects. So sociology, as it were, was regarded as a main discipline, a generalizing discipline. What seems to have happened is that politics and political economy have increasingly come to cover the kinds of topics that were previously the center of sociological work. People, for instance, I grew up with people like C. Wright Mills, Talcott Parsons, academics in the United Kingdom like Shelley Horsey, John Rex, and Tony Giddens. They were concerned with the large problems like war and peace, boom and slump was the slogan which C. Wright Mills put forward. Giddens also sought to manufacture concepts which captured the changing character of post-industrial, even post-capitalist society. So that has changed. And to some extent, the Sociology Department and Politics in Cambridge particularly has maintained this relationship. Media studies, for instance, in our department is an area where we are strong. And we still have members associated with the department like Göran Therborn, Manuel Castells, Mick Mann. They participate in the department and carry on this kind of tradition. Also, we've got people like Jeff Miley and Hazim Kandil who develop these kinds of themes. And I think that Sarah Franklin is bringing into the area of public policy the topic of reproduction. And I think that in the future developments, genetics are an important growth area. The nature versus nurture topic, for instance, which has always been at the center of sociology. So what I think we need to understand is why it is that politics and international relations seem to have captured their students' imagination in a way in which we have not. So, as to future developments, I think we should develop the current research projects which really fill a gap in sociological inquiry. Some of these are being addressed in the departments, particularly in media, in political sociology, and in reproduction sociology. Inequalities and health are also important areas of research. I think we should also look at the general appeal of sociological topics to attract more undergraduates. The rise of Muslim societies, the position of China in the world, the causes of war, examples here coming from the Middle East, and popular movements such as Brexit. Many departments study Brexit. You look at the popular newspapers and quality journals. We don't see very many sociologists participating in this debate. The formation of regional states and associations, austerity politics and social movements, I think are attractive topics which would be of great interest. The nature of leading institutions, such as transnational corporations, global organizations like the IMF and the World Bank, would also be a center of attention which would attract students and would also attract general public attention. So these subjects, I think, have got a knowledge base and are of public interest. And also, they might even be useful for students to get jobs in the future.